First team I want to tackle, of course, is the defending AFC West champion, six-time champion. To me, that's the team we're going to have to knock off to win this division, and that is the Kansas City Chiefs. So I just wanted to take a look at these guys, 2020 versus 2021. Now, they didn't have any big coaching changes. They had some minor ones coming into this year. Nothing big so far. Of course, they went from 13-3 to 12-5. Not a big difference. The offense is about the same. But the defense kind of took a step back, particularly in the passing game. So that's something we can possibly exploit. So the next thing I want to talk about, some of the key moves that they've made during the offseason. Now, of course, we're going to first talk about Justin Reed, former Texan safety, 6'1", 203, basically a replacement for the Honey Badger, signed a 3-year, $31.5 million deal, and that's basically what it is. And then the other one we're going to talk about as far as the adds, and that's due to the subtraction of Tyreek Hill. And that is getting some other wide receivers here. It's not just Tyreek Hill, though. They lost Demarcus Robinson to us. Pringle's a free agent, still out there. So they have Juju Smith-Schuster, basically a possession-type receiver, 1-year deal. And then Marquez Valdez-Scantling, MVS, signed him for a 3-year, $30 million deal. Pretty good. He's basically kind of the Tyreek light. Obviously, I don't think he's as good, but they're not going to be able to fully replace that loss, in my opinion. And then, of course, I put Orlando Brown here, and I put an asterisk because he was a free agent. They did franchise him, and he signed his franchise tender, so he's going to be making $16.7 million for 1 year, and that was smart for them. Left tackle had a pretty decent season last year for them, not just with that, so I think I don't have an issue with them doing that specifically. So let's get right to another thing I want to talk about, because we haven't had the draft yet, of course, so we're going to be kind of revisiting this post-draft as well. And that is the salary cap. Now, they're about $14 million under the cap right now, and that's from SpotTrack.com. That is based on the top 51 players that they have. Now, some of that can be played around, but listen to this. So 2022 draft, they have 8 draft picks, and 4 of those are in the first round, and that includes 2 first-round picks. So a lot of that play in the salary cap for the Chiefs is going to be used up in the draft. Now, just to give you an example, Alex Leatherwood, last year, our 17th overall pick, got $8 million signing bonus. So they have, I believe, the 29th and 30th picks in the first round. So that's going to eat into it, as well as the other picks. So what I'm trying to say here, as far as the Chiefs go, I think they're done as far as making any more big splashes in free agency. They're probably going to pick up a couple of people here and there, like everybody else does. But I'm not going to be looking for them to be doing anything else other than anything significant other than in the draft.
The other team's quarterback must go down, and he must go down hard.
Now, we do these on their game previews and reviews, so I wanted to take a look at this. We started on the Raiders side of the defensive side of the ball. Now, what I did was here is that I put the new additions in purple. Now, of course, we're early on here in the offseason. This is not a finalized starting list. This is tentative starters as we see them right now, of course, so we got to keep that in mind. But from what I'm seeing, obviously Tyreek Hill's gone. They've augmented him basically with 2 players. I don't think that's going to be enough, to be honest with you. And here's my first key to right now, from what I'm seeing as far as weak spots that we can exploit. And that is Max Crosby here. I know he had problems with Andrew Wiley last year. That's got to be cleared up. I think that's the weak side here on the right side of the ball. We need to get pressure on Patrick Mahomes. That's the bottom line here. And then the second one, of course, is going to be obvious. Tyreek Hill's gone. Who's their next best player here? That is Travis Kelce. You could argue he was the best player even when Hill was there. Carves us up constantly. We're going to have to find a safety that can cover him. Abram can't do the job. Maybe put Merrick on him more. He can handle MVS single. I wouldn't mind that. Juju's more of a possession type guy. They do have some more speed with Hardman, but not nearly as deadly with Tyreek Hill. So those are the 2 areas that we need to go after to slow them down, get to Mahomes, and do what you can to shut down Travis Kelce.
I hear everyone say, take what they give you. We're going to take what we want.
Now on the offensive side of the ball, it's a little bit different. Of course, we have Devontae Adams, his our upgrade, and then they just they basically swapped our Honey Badger with Justin Reed. So not a whole lot of difference. But what I've been seeing last year, particularly with Chris Jones, they like to bounce him in. They like to bounce him out. He is deadly. I think he's more deadly inside. The tentative depth charts and starting rosters I was getting from ESPN and PFF, they have him on the outside. I'm not so sure about that, to be honest with you. And I could definitely see the Chiefs going after some defensive end / edge rusher help in the draft with those high draft picks, and then keeping Jones on the inside. And that's going to tell me that these guys on the interior, both James and Denzel Good, I'm going to assume right now Denzel Good's going to be back with the team and ready to go at right guard. That's up in the air right now, but I'm just assuming that right now. And I'm assuming Leatherwood's going to be at right tackle, given what Josh McDaniels said, and we talked about that in the last live stream, where he's going to give him the opportunity to earn that spot at right tackle. And the next one is going to be Josh Jacobs, because the Chiefs are not very adept at stopping the run. They can get carved up on the inside rather easily. And not just Josh Jacobs. Again, I've talked about this before. I want a guy inside the tackles that can spell him, that can run the ball and run the ball hard. Not only that, of course, when we can do that, we can move the chains, we can control the time of possession, and keep the ball out of number 15's hands to minimize any damage he can cause.
When you have great coaches, then after you have great coaches, you get great players. You have a great organization, and you tell them one thing: just win, baby.